Hi there. Welcome to CSAE's Best Minds in Associations podcast. I am board member Paul Caputo, hosting my first episode of the podcast. I've been working on the podcast committee for a while. It's my pleasure to be hosting for the first time with our brand new executive director, Sue Hawk. I'll just give you a little bit of background on Sue, but we're going to talk about who Sue is and her vision for the association. Sue was the president and CEO of the Technology Association for nearly 10 years. When that organization grew from a small software organization to become the largest technology industry association in the state. She also served as the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau, Denver and Boulder, and the president of B Civic, a membership organization focused on corporate social responsibility. Sue began her membership association career at the Denver Metro Chamber as vice president, and later was the SVP at the Southeast Business Partnership. Sue, that's a lot. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Paul. That makes me feel very humbled. CSAE is such an important organization, and I feel like the association industry itself has never been more critical to our economy and communities. And I am delighted and honored to follow in those giant footsteps of JT and Julie recently and everyone else that's been involved. You know, one of the things that I love about CSAE is it has a more than 70-year history, which sometimes and most of the time is of benefit. Sometimes and a few times, it's also one where we need a little bit of a fresh perspective and some new ideas and some new vision. And that's what I get excited about doing with associations. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be your first guest.
Well, we're very excited to have you. And obviously, I mean, I've always known CSAE under JT's leadership. And then obviously, like you said, Julie served as the interim director for 4 months. But like you say, I work for an association, the National Association for Interpretation here in Fort Collins. And we certainly have this challenge as well, where there's a lot of institutional memory. There's a lot of successful practices that get handed from leader to leader and generation to generation. But then there's also the need for sort of that fresh perspective that you're describing. So I guess one of the first questions I would ask you is, what do you see as the sort of tried and true things that CSAE is doing really well and you don't want to change? And then what are the things where you think, okay, let's revisit this, and what are some things that we don't want to just do the same way because we've always done them that way?
Great question, Paul. And I'll just say that I believe that organizations build a framework and then different chapters. And under JT, we build a foundation and a lot of chapters. And so I respect that. I respect all that she did, and certainly what Julie has done recently as well. I don't know everything about what we're going to do or what we're going to keep, because I'm not the member. And I really believe that you ask members, what's important? What do you need? What wakes you up in the middle of the night right now? And that's what will frame what our strategy is going forward. I'm delighted that the search committee gave me the opportunity to start when I did, because it's preceding our annual conference. And I know you and I are talking about that in a few minutes, but it's also a perfect time to reach out to our members. We'll be doing a member survey. I'm following up with what I call a listening tour. Just anybody who wants to give me some suggestions, I am all ears. And my objective is to accelerate the initiatives that we do for member value and engagement. So member, everything will circle around those members, and that's what we'll focus on. I also believe that in an era of data, disruption, and constant change, we absolutely need to hear our members and validate. How do we know that we know that? How do we know that we heard that before we actually go do a bunch of tactical execution? But I also believe that we have to constantly be listening. There's a really great guy in Boulder who was a venture capitalist that I worked with when I ran the Colorado Technology Association. And he coined a great phrase. He said, we always have a 20-year strategy, but we reset it every week. And I thought, wow, that's pretty lofty, but it's really true. Our ultimate objective is to be the best association of community best practices, context, content, curated information, and leadership and advocacy. And how we do that will be informed by our members on a continual basis.
So in your first days here, and I know by the time everyone hears this, it'll be towards the end of May. We're recording in the middle of May right now, but you've had a little bit of time under your belt to get acquainted with the organization and our memberships. What do you see as the biggest challenges that you want to tackle first for?
Well, candidly, it's the annual conference because we don't have enough registrations. When I looked at some of the past experiences, it looks like people make a decision maybe in the last month. So if this is being viewed or heard on May 25th, yay, you still have plenty of time to register for the conference. I know how busy people are. I totally get that. I know that dedicating a few days, especially with travel included, is a lot. But I do believe that conferences offer a once a year opportunity to share ideas, to communicate, to like run into people, whether it's at the coffee break or in the sponsor exhibit area, whatever it happens to be. And I just want every one of our members to walk away with great nuggets of information. The second piece that I'll just say is I believe that we need to make it easier for our members to get information, everything from our database to the digital products that we provide, whether it's events and programming. This podcast is a great example of what we need to continue doing more of in the future. And I want to make sure the information is there when they want it or when they have time for it, in addition to physical. I know that we all in the association business have seen a lot of change over the last couple of years, but three very key trends that I've seen for CSAE is we've gone from physical to virtual, and now people want a hybrid. We need to make it easy for people in Colorado Springs, for example, to access information, whether they can drive to Denver or not, or the same for those in Boulder, or for people who are just busy, because I know all of our members are extremely scheduled people. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I think that associations in general have gone from an annual event to more of thinking, how am I delivering value 365 days a year? Now, that doesn't mean we have programs every single day. It doesn't mean we have actual events, but it's a mentality shift that instead of counting on everyone to attend an annual event, which I still hope people will come to, it is also a way of delivering the content or curating information so that we're providing great value. And then the third piece that I am very cognizant of is that we now have 5 generations of people working in our, in our buildings, in our associations. So how do we understand those different generations and what they want, what they need, and how they want it delivered?
Well, so you mentioned our conference. Obviously, it's a signature event for CSAE. I have attended the in-person one 5 years in a row, and the virtual one I was able to attend as well over the last couple of years. I did miss last year's conference. I felt terrible about that, but this year we are going to be in Vail. It's June 22 to June 24, so just under a month from when this episode drops. Can you tell me about the slogan, Ready, Set, Go, Rebuilding Our Future? What can people expect at the conference?
Oh, thank you, Paul. And thank you for attending so many years. I know how hard it is. So you get extra gold stars for that. That the topic was picked because again, the last couple of years have been really difficult on people, and people running associations or in charge of membership or programs or biz development or whatever aspect of associations. Oh my gosh, you each have gone through so much. And so what we want to do is provide information that will prepare you so that you can be forward thinking, so that you can get ideas that maybe you've not had a chance to think about, or maybe you've got great ideas and you want to share those with your colleagues. So that's what it's all about. One of the speakers I'll just mention is Lowell Applebaum, and he gave me time yesterday morning, which in context of this podcast was a Sunday morning. And he's talking about forecast fluency, learning how to look ahead. And I just love that. And he's going to do an exercise with everyone. It will be very interesting. And I think people will walk away with some really good information. Then his breakout session is about, and he says it this way, your board wasn't born perfect. So new approaches. Well, again, I think everybody in the association business has really been through a lot of turmoil. How do you have a board meeting if you can't meet in person? How do you create those connections with people? How do you create an environment where they can have connections? So those are just two examples. There's a lot more in terms of legal aspects. So for example, everything from, how do you manage a virtual workforce? What can you as an employer require? What's appropriate, what's legal, what's just good culture. And so we'll have some sessions on that. We'll have some breakout sessions on philanthropic arms of an association. Amy McDermott, who's the executive director of the Colorado Realtors Association Foundation, has done an exemplary job with this. And as we all know, millennials and Gen X's really care about passion. They care about purpose. So in the association business, in addition to serving our members, what can we also do in the community? We're talking about, tactical things, sponsorships and memberships and marketing and communications and a lot more. So those are just a couple of highlights. I will say too, that having people like you there, Paul, every year, that really matters, because you all are the epicenter of what CSAE is all about. And so I think, again, talking to one another and hearing ideas, even hearing someone's question, is wonderful. And if we can do it in the context of beautiful Vail, I mean, what's not to miss?
Right. Well, I mean, I'll tell you my story within CSAE might be sort of indicative of what someone might get out of this event, because my background's in graphic design. I've been with my association NAI for 20 years. And, as I started advancing in the organization, my executive director said, hey, we'd like you to, go to CSAE and learn about, association management, because that'll help you sort of advance within the organization. And, I went probably, 8 years ago. I think 2013, 2014 might have been my first conference, and met some people, made friends, and in subsequent years I would go. And then it was always the social events, right? It was always the social events when you're out on a patio in some beautiful setting in Colorado, that you're chatting with people. And that's how I got roped into being on the membership committee, which was a great thing for me to do. And from there, I got involved with the board and then this podcast committee. And so it was just a function of, I didn't have association background until I started going to this conference for professional development. And it's changed my trajectory quite a bit. So sort of a personal testimonial is that this conference has been a really good professional development opportunity for me. And now I'm serving again as the interim executive director for NAI right now. And that's in part because of the development opportunities at the conference over the years.
Well, Paul, I appreciate you saying that, because, my desire is to accelerate initiatives for member value and engagement. And it sounds like the trajectory for your career was enhanced by CSAE. It's also one where it wasn't just provided to you, you participated. And I think that's what we all know about membership organizations. Yes, you can have a membership, and maybe you have a little card that says, hey, I'm a member of, or you're on their website, or you're recognized. But it's up to the individual to really become involved and to seize the day. And I think that's one of the many reasons I love CSAE, is because it has been an organization with open arms, inviting people to participate. And I'm just so proud that you can say that through some of the connections you made, or through some of the sessions you attended, it helped you in your career. But you clearly also had a purpose and a focus, and you leveraged what was provided. That's what I encourage all of our members to do, is use everything that we have to help advance your career, your association, or the community that you serve. But I think it really matters. And that's why this annual conference is so important, is I would encourage people, come to it, show up and participate, because you never know who you're going to meet. And I could go on, I've not yet come to a CSAE conference, so this will be my first one, but I've certainly put on a variety of other conferences in the past for other associations. And, every single one, I can tell you countless examples of people who made a connection that they would not have otherwise done. And it made a difference in their life, or it made a difference in their business. And that's what I'm hoping that CSAE can do every single day for our members.
Well, and I have to tell you, one of the other things that I really enjoyed about all of the conferences that I've been to is the setting, the facilities themselves. What can you tell me about where we're going to be in Vail?
Oh my gosh. This hotel is absolutely beautiful. They have just undergone a multi-million-dollar renovation, and they're really excited about having us. If you go to the website, you can look at some of the pictures. You can see some of the new outdoor environment. Even the indoor ballroom is beautiful. It's very mountainy and very majestic and very, I'll just say, exclusive. I mean, this is not a run-of-the-mill hotel. So kudos to everyone who chose this particular setting for our conference. I'm also going to give in a plug for them because they're giving us a really great deal on rooms. So it's only $165 a night. So for a hotel of this caliber and for being in Vail in the summer, I'm hoping that lots of people will choose to come up, stay not only for the conference, but maybe even stay a day or two afterwards, or maybe even come up a little early if they can.
So we haven't asked you about yourself. I know that you've been in Colorado at least 10 years. Are you a Colorado native?
I'm a third generation native. My grandfather came here when he was 3, and my grandmother came here when she was 4 on my dad's side. And so we have several generations of people through the years. And I grew up in Lakewood, Colorado. I'm a Lakewood High School Tigers grad. I then went on and got my degree from CSU. And interestingly, it's in technical journalism, but I really wanted to go into association, public relations, et cetera. And that's what I've done my whole career. My husband and I have been married 30 plus years, and we met originally when he was the safety patrolman in 6th grade when I was in 2nd grade. And I had a huge crush on the safety patrolman. I actually had a little journal and we found this out. And then we actually didn't ever meet until both of us graduated from college.
That's a great story. And I'm thrilled that you are. I have to say, I am not a Colorado native. I was born in Pennsylvania in the Philadelphia area. So, but I've been here about 20 years. So, well, thanks. It's what do they say? I got here as quick as I could. So, all right. So I didn't tell you that this was coming here, but the last thing I want to do is I just want to ask you some sort of rapid fire questions so that people can get to know you a little bit better here.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. Bojo's in Idaho Springs has the best crust and the best pineapple, but don't ask my husband to eat it. He won't.
Okay. Well, see, that's the divide that we're talking about here.
Yep. I get all the pineapple on the pizza.
Does your car have a name?
Yes. His name is Newton, Newtton. He's 11 years old.
All right. Do you have a favorite shirt?
Actually, I really do. That's just a crazy thing. I have had a shirt that I've had since high school, and it's got flowers all over it. And it's my Welcome to Spring, Welcome to Gardening shirt.
Very nice. Burritos or tacos?
I'm a burrito girl because I have to eat everything with a fork and knife. My mother is Southern, and so I grew up with a salad fork.
Okay.
I really did. I have to eat everything with a fork and knife.
That's funny. Coffee or tea?
I'm actually a big tea lover, but if you put enough milk in it, I'll drink coffee.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Huge dog lover.
Okay.
We actually have dogs as our kids. And so we're on the 3rd generation of Bichons, which are hypoallergenic and cuter than cute. And I tolerate cats, but I'm really allergic to them.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. So dogs.
What is your favorite dessert?
Ice cream. Any kind at all is my favorite. My favorite food, though, is spinach.
Oh, your favorite food is spinach.
My favorite food is even beyond pineapple on pizza.
And not just out of obligation or because it's a superfood. Okay.
I love spinach. Yep.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Absolute morning person. I'm up at 5 and I temper myself because I try to send emails not anything earlier than like 6.
Okay. Do you speak any foreign languages?
Oh, I wish. No.
All right. Last one. Popcorn or M&Ms?
Popcorn. because you can savor each and every single piece. But I actually don't like chocolate. So I'm just a popcorn girl.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that helps everyone get to know you just a little bit better here. I hope everyone will bring their own questions to you.
Okay. So Paul, I just have to ask you, are you a pineapple on pizza person?
Well, listen, I'm not gonna gatekeep whether people are gonna put pineapple on pizza or not, but I wouldn't choose it, but I'll eat it if it's put in front of me.
Okay, and are you a dog?
That's true of most things, actually.
Are you a dog or a cat person?
So I love dogs. If I'm gonna hang out with somebody forever and ever, it's gonna be a dog. But I actually have a COVID rescue cat who was only supposed to be with me. Yeah, she was only supposed to be with me for 3 months, and of course, COVID being COVID, this place where she was a shop cat, and she was a shop cat because she kept getting returned to the shelter because she was grumpy and she was attacking people and she had all these health problems. And so they brought her to me and they said, could you just keep her for 3 months because she can't be around little kids or other animals? And I said, okay. And they said, she's going to keep to herself and she's sickly and she only eats this very special food. But she was living in this like warehouse basically. And so they brought her to me. And within 3 or 4 days, she was sleeping on my shoulder. She was eating wet food. She's hanging out. Now she's my best bud. So I'm normally a dog person, but little Yodel the cat is my best bud these days. 2 years later.
Yodel is very lucky. See, she just had to have the right person in her life.
I'm glad she's with me.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite shirt? You being such a baseball fanatic, I bet you've got a great shirt.
I have so many shirts that it would be hard to pick a favorite. But we were talking before we started recording. I wear a different minor league baseball t-shirt every day. And so I've got so many shirts in my closet that it would be really hard to pick one favorite one. But if I had to, I would have to say it is my lime green Daytona Tortugas t-shirt.
Oh, that is that's very special. I have no idea who they are, but I'm sure it's very special.
They just have a very cool sea turtle logo. And so I like sea turtles. And so
okay, I want to see that sometime.
All right.
Next time we have a board meeting, you have to wear that, please.
I will wear my Tortugas t-shirt to a board meeting.
I'm counting on it.
Yeah. Well, Sue, I didn't expect you to turn the rapid fire questions on me, but I appreciate that you did. That was fun. And
it's nice to get to know you too, Paul. The host is a star. We need to get to know you.
Well, that's perfect. I very much enjoyed being a board member for CSAE, and I've loved getting to know all the members and just getting to be a part of this great organization. And we're very glad that you're here and looking forward to all the great things to come during your tenure.
Oh, thank you so much. And members, please let me know if there's any ideas that you have morning, noon, and night. I won't answer my email if I'm asleep, but I will absolutely look at it as soon as I wake up. And I'm just honored to be here. And Paul, thank you so much for this. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Sue. And my last question is, how can people reach you?
shawk, so it looks like shock, shawk@csae.org. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
Perfect. Thank you, Sue.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.